let's talk about Jalen Carter. What happened with the off the field stuff with the racing?
Hey, bro, he got cleared. He ain't nothing to talk about. He ain't serving no jail time. Everybody who was unfortunately involved in that fatal incident, they're taken care of, and he's good to go. So ain't nothing to really talk about with that. But there is something to talk about that pro day though.
Yeah, but it's just like, you know, you had the character concerns that came out earlier in the year. And it's like at that time, like I feel like there were no character concerns, but now it's like you got all these issues popping up, and now everybody's like, okay, this dude's a character. I really feel like he isn't going to be that big of a troublemaker. But do you think that his draft stock is going to tank a little bit? Could you see him falling out of the top 10? Plus the bad pro day, which you're probably going to get into. Like, is he still going to be a top 10, or is he going to have like I don't picture him having like a seismic fall, but I could see him falling out of the top 10. What about you?
I cannot see him falling outside the top 10. I can see him falling, but not outside the top 10. That's the first question that you asked that actually stumped me because I look at Jalen Carter, and talent-wise, the dude's the best player in the class. But he plays a position that isn't of value for the first pick, or really any of the top 5 picks, and he has character concerns. So it's kind of like you effed yourself, kind of. But at the same time, he did it because I just don't, and like I have said, I am a Cowboys fan, so the football fan in me would absolutely hate this, but I don't see any way that Philly lets him get past 10. I don't care if all the corners are there. Like, I don't care. Like, Jalen Carter at worst is going to Philly because you have to think about it. This is a defensive tackle that can beat triple teams. You feel me? Like, that's not normal. People don't just beat triple teams. You feel me? So we talk about his ability to shed blocks, to get skinny when he's rushing the passer, to play the run on the way to the quarterback. He's the prototype, the Gen X, what you look for in a generational defensive tackle. So I think that Jalen Carter, yeah, he's gonna fall, but I also think it ain't got anything to do with him. I think that the quarterbacks is the monkey wrench, and the cornerbacks is the other monkey wrench. I don't know what Detroit's doing at 6, but from what I see and what I've heard from sources, cornerback is definitely in play, even though they just signed Sam Sutton. So this draft could get really weird, starting at pick number 6, really at 5, because I don't know what Seattle's going to do. They are taking meetings with Bryce and Anthony Richardson and C.J. Stroud. Are they going to take a quarterback? I don't know. But they might mess around, take Tyree Wilson, and it's just the smoke and mirror. But with the influx of the draft being so tied into what quarterback goes where, and the run on cornerbacks is going to be absolutely asinine. I think Jalen Carter could fall to 10, absolutely, but I don't think he gets past the Philadelphia Eagles. I think he's too talented a player, and you potentially then have the ability, if you're Philadelphia, as I vomit here trying to be objective, to basically reunite Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter for the next 10 years. I mean, if I'm the Philadelphia Eagles, if I'm a fan of Philadelphia, the Eagles, that excites the living hell out of me because you can finally push Fletcher Cox into the sunset. You know, you just lost Javon Hargrave in free agency to San Fran, so putting Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter together again on a defensive line would help you maintain that level of dominance that you've had for so many years. And Jalen Carter, unlike Jordan Davis, does not come off the field on third down. He can rush with Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat, and those guys. So yeah, I think one, Jalen Carter would be a great fit in Philadelphia, but 2, I think there's no way Philadelphia passes on a prospect of that magnitude with the general manager they have in Harry Roseman. So yeah, no way he makes out top 10.
Now, even though, you know, he wasn't really charged with anything, not really no trouble, just slapped on the wrist with probation. I think he got some community service, but he didn't have a great pro day. He came in 9 pounds overweight. Do you think that, and this is why I think there's a chance that he could fall out the top 10? Because you know how these general managers play the game, and I think it's going to be the same thing with Hendon Hooker. They're going to be like, okay, like this dude has all these things going on, so let's just see how far this guy falls. What teams are going to be willing to take that risk and play the game and see how far Jalen Carter falls until it's like, okay, we're just going to go ahead and scoop him up. Do you see that kind of situation playing not with him, or do you think teams aren't even going to try to take that wait and see game with him? If he's on the board, they're just going to go ahead and snag him up.
Yeah, like I said, I don't see any way he gets past 10. I will touch on Hendon Hooker though. I think Hendon Hooker, if he doesn't tear his ACL, is the third best quarterback in this class. So if they want to wait around for Hendon Hooker, be my guest. The Cowboys apparently love him and would love to make him their backup quarterback. So yeah, you wait around if you want to. That kid's going to be just fine. He's going to be 25 when he takes his first NFL practice reps, but his ability to throw the football is magnificent. So yeah, shout out to Hendon Hooker. I love that, man. I love that kid. But as far as Jalen Carter, man, again, as far as him falling in the top 10, with the pro day and everything, I mein, what was Jalen Carter really going to show us at a pro day with tights on? You feel me? Like, he's a defensive tackle, bro. I think pro days are meant for cornerbacks, and wide receivers and tight ends. They're not made for defensive tackles. They're not made for offensive line. That's what the combine is for. Now, he didn't work out at the combine, and I get it, he had a terrible showing at his pro day. But in reality, the question should not be about really Jalen Carter's character. The question should be, can you focus in the midst of adversity?
And I don't mean to cut you off.
How is your maturity? I think my only weakness on Jalen Carter in his evaluation wasn't even character, it was maturity. Are you mature enough to handle the responsibility of probably being the best defensive player on your team for the next 10 years? Are you mature enough to handle that? So that's what the issue is more for me, and probably for GMs as well, is how mature they think they are. And I think even with the maturity issues, I still don't think he gets out the top 10 simply because you put him in the right locker room and those maturity issues can be resolved. Like Philadelphia, fuck the Eagles, but yeah, Philadelphia has a great locker room. Feel me? Great culture on that team. Fuck the Eagles though.
And I don't mean to cut you off real quick, but it's like, what about the stamina concerns? Because those definitely did pop out to me a lot watching him. He was on the sidelines in the college football semifinals really early, got gassed really fast. It's like
that goes into not the maturity, but that goes into one, he's defensive tackle, so they're gonna get gassed. That's the natural thing in the position. But also, I mean, hey, bro, you gotta put in the work. You feel me? Aaron Donald comes off the field, yeah, but on third down, Aaron Donald, if he's tired, not going to try to size out there and get to the quarterback. You feel me? So that's a Jalen Carter problem. A scout can't worry about that. It's not a scout's job to make sure that a player's in shape. That's your responsibility. That's your profession. You feel me? But yeah, but then at the same time, what a team would be asking Jalen Carter to do probably wouldn't require him to be as tired. I see him as a 3-down player eventually, but they probably use him in sub packages on third down and really like key rundowns because he's an egregious run defender. You try to block Jalen Carter one-on-one, your ass is getting smoked.
Now, I'm not gonna hold you. There was one player who did have his way against Jalen Carter. And I think he's the top 10 player in his draft, and his name is Osiris Torrance. And this dude is one of the rarest offensive guards I've seen. This dude had his way with Jalen Carter. Be honest now. Jalen Carter wasn't just like non-existent. Not trying to say that. He did make plays, but Osiris Torrance pretty much had that dude in check.
That was a war. I think Carter won the war, though. Let me tell you why Carter won the war. They both had good reps against each other, but when it came down to it, Carter's reps were more impressive than Torrance's. Torrance held him in check, but it was like runs away from Jalen Carter that he held him in check. when it came to the point of attack, when they were trying to run at Jalen Carter and they were trying to seal him off for Torrance, and he would throw his ass like a fucking rag doll to the side and blow up the ball carrier. I mean, that's more impressive to me. But I'm glad you brought that up because people need to stop sleeping on Osiris Torrance, man. I got a guy in my own department who thinks that he's not guard one. And it's like he is, bro. Yes, he's light in the ass. He's not as strong as you would want him to be. But and the weight was an issue, but he slimmed down a lot. But I think overall, he's another really high potential guy, high ceiling guy. He's a guy who's got his best football ahead of him. There's already a mauler who knows how to, dig out those defensive tackles, dig out those linebackers, even get to the second level on those safeties and linebackers. You feel me? So I think that Torrance is a really, really good player, and I just would like for him to get more respect. But back to Carter, though, while he did have some times where he did get beat on tape, I think the thing with Carter that really impresses me the most and why I feel like he can't fall top 10 is his pass rush ability. You cannot pass on in today's NFL. You cannot pass on a guy who can get pressure on a quarterback on third down from the defensive tackle position because that's the game changer. You can find an edge that can get to the passer. You can find a linebacker like Michael Parsons to get to the passer. But when you have a defensive tackle that gets to the passer as well, that's when you have problems as a quarterback. There's no quarterback. I don't care if you're Dak Prescott. I don't care if you're Tom Brady. I don't care if you're Patrick Mahomes. No quarterback likes pressure in their face. And who puts pressure in their face? Defensive tackles.
And look at the guys making the most money at that position. DeForest Buckner, Javon Hargrave, all guys that can get after the quarterback. And the thing is this, like a lot of people think to find those kind of D tackles, you got to go smaller in size. With Jalen Carter, this guy is 300 pounds. So it's like the size is there, the athleticism is there, and when it comes to falling out the top 10, it's like I think that it would be highly unlikely. I think there's a possibility that maybe Arizona takes him at 3 if they don't trade down. It's just that, sometimes these GMs do like to roll the dice sometimes and play the waiting game, like you said, play the waiting game at your own risk and end up losing on a generational kind of player